Hi everyone, welcome to this video series called Impossible Things, where I talk about things that would seem impossible to other people but have actually happened to me. This video is about how to find your own path and how to follow and stay on your own path in order to create the type of life that you want to be living in. And I want to say that this story is not actually impossible at all. However, I want to sneak it in there because it's important to talk about these concepts if you really want to be in charge of creating your reality. So, at one point in my life, I got a master's degree in psychology, and part of that degree was a run-on where I got to be in also a doctorate program, which I was in for a number of years, and I completed most of it. I did the classes, I passed all the tests, I planned my dissertation, I did a lot of my dissertation. However, right at the end, I decided that I did not want to complete the doctorate program. And that decision was the best decision that I ever made in my entire life. And I credit that decision with a lot of the very positive things that happened to me after that. First of all, I want to say I am not in any way, shape, or form saying don't go to school or quit your school now. That's not what this video is about. This video is about how I came to that decision and why it was a good decision for me at that time. So, the reason it was a good decision for me was because it became symbolic of making a decision that mattered to me, where I knew the reason that I was making it, but nobody else in the world knew the reason that I was making it. And quite frankly, would have thought I was a little bit crazy and making a decision that probably they would not have made themselves. But I knew that it was the right decision for me personally, and I made that decision despite the fact that everybody that I talked to gave me the advice to go ahead and finish the doctorate and voice their opinion that they thought that would be what the best path would be for me. I did not feel that way. I never ever felt that way during the whole process. But the only reason that I kept going was because I believed that other people thought it was the best thing for me, and that if I chose to follow what my heart told me to follow, that other people would look down on me and think that I had made a bad decision. That was the only reason that I kept going. I did not know that consciously at the time. Okay, I only realized that later. But it really was the only decision that I kept going on a path that I knew was not the most advantageous path for my life. And I dragged that out for a long time, for a number of years. And my life during that time was very painful because I had a lot of energy in both sides of that decision. I wanted to continue it for reasons of I wanted to appear a certain way to other people, but I was putting a lot of energy into creating that life and going with that decision. And also I wanted to discontinue it because I knew in my heart that was right for me, and I knew that following my heart would produce the type of results that I really wanted to see in my life. And I also put a lot of energy into that decision and taking that path. At the same time, I followed one road at the same time with energy, a lot of energy from me, going in two separate places. And that exhausted me, like totally exhausted me, because I was literally fighting myself. My own internal energy was fighting itself for many, many years. So it was not a pleasant place to be in, a pleasant time to be in my life. And because I dragged it on for so long, that decision then became symbolic for me. I built it up so much, which is not a good idea, but I did that, and it became then a symbol of, what is my life about? Is it about doing things that I believed would be pleasing to other people and make them think of me a certain way? Or was it about connecting with something inside myself and finding that knowledge and deep wisdom and deep knowing and understanding of who I really am and what I'm really here to do, and following that? And so when I chose not to continue with the dissertation and the doctorate, that was a very symbolic moment for me, because it became a symbol of me choosing to be me and be myself in the world. And that is true if you unfortunately create a situation like that, where you build something up like that and fight yourself for a long, long time. That will become a symbol of that. But it's also true for every single small decision that you make in your life. You're all connected, and I've talked about this before, but we are all connected internally to something much larger than ourselves. And you can call that a number of things. You can call that your inner being. You can call that source, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it. But inside you, you're connected to your energy, which is personal to you. And through that, you're connected to a larger energy, which is less personal to you. And then to more and more energies, which eventually encompass the entire universe and that which we call God. That energy knows, is aware of all the potentials and possibilities in your life and also in everybody else's life. So there is a huge amount of knowledge there that you can choose to draw on at any time in your life, or not. You can choose to disconnect yourself from that energy and from that knowledge, and instead connect yourself to what other people think you should do, or what you believe that other people think you should do or want you to do. So really, every moment in our lives, we're making that decision. Like, where do we want to make our decisions from? Is it really from our inner selves, which knows the way to what we want? Are we making decisions from that part of ourselves? Or are we making decisions according to what other people want us to do? And if you're making decisions according to what you believe other people want you to do, that's always going to end up in a bad place, because there are so many different people and they all want different things from you, and none of them really know about you and your life and where you want it to go, and neither do they understand how everything is connected. The universe can find a way to give you what you want and to give other people what they want at exactly the same time. energetically, there are skills and abilities and energy moves naturally in a way that we cannot really fathom when we're down here in our bodies, in our minds on earth. But it does happen. There is a way for everything to work out if you're connected to that larger part of you, and that you can make decisions from that larger part of you. It doesn't mean that you don't care about other people or that you're not aware of what they're thinking and feeling. You can still give them respect and freedom and the space to be who they want to be. I'm not talking about getting in other people's lives and making decisions for them. What I'm talking about here is making decisions for yourself from your heart and from the largest place of you, your own place of personal power. And it's only ever by making decisions from that place that you can make your life big, and live your life, live the type of life that you want to live. You have to get into that place to live that type of life. The other thing I want to say about this is that sometimes it's not that obvious. Sometimes it's very clear if it's something you desire versus if it's something somebody else wants from you. But a lot of times it's not that clear. And that can be, like in my case, for many years, I sort of walked the line between what I thought other people wanted and what I wanted. And because I walked that line for so long, what really was mine, my ideas and my desires and what was other people's, became very confusing to me. I couldn't tell the difference for a long time. So a lot of times, even though you're making decisions that are from the heart, they don't feel wonderful and amazing to you because you have muddied the waters for so long. It might just feel like the lesser of two evils, which is what it felt like me too, what it felt like for me at that time, because I had gone so far down a path that I didn't really want to have gone down. So that's something important to remember. It's not a case of you, it's not always a case of you have a burning desire and do you follow it or not. It may just be you have two choices and one feels horrible and one feels a little bit less horrible. If you take the one that feels less horrible, that's more likely that you're going with your heart and you're going with what your inner guidance is telling you, than if you take the one that feels more horrible. And that's just reality. Sometimes you get yourself into that kind of place, and that's the decision that you have to make. However, once you come to the place that you're making those kind of decisions, you have that kind of connection with your inner self on a consistent basis, and you're making those kind of decisions from your heart on a consistent basis, then you don't end up in those quandaries, and things become a lot clearer to you. So that is all for now. Thank you for watching, and I will post again next Sunday. Thank you so much for being here. It makes what I do that much more enjoyable. Eli, you're on camera. Say hi, Eli.